It's Mad, along with Goo, and today we're going to talk about Wildcard, but really Joker. Come on, um, how good is Joker? Hint, really good. And is he really worth it? That's for us to decide right after this. It's Joker, not Wildcard, but Joker increases physical power of our bosses by 25%. Honestly, the best leadership around for most of the bosses here. Top leadership. For a unit has some pretty interesting Miracle Wave. Is a whoosh skill which we don't really have enough of, and 200% whoosh damage, which is decent damage, especially with his power, and gives 50% of the HP back to himself, which honestly is incredibly helpful. The biggest skill, honestly, that makes, in my mind, Wildcard or Joker top notch is actually Kadunk. And people are gonna go, but it's just spell damage to all enemies. But the 60% hobbles with his speed can be really annoying on Guild War defenses. And with basically Joker having some very unique abilities, along with top end agility, Kadonk can be a very annoying Guild War defense to worry about. Um, but in a weird way, one of the best ways to mitigate that is to have someone who is weak to whoosh or zap, um, and basically just calm them down. Unfortunately, I just realized I screwed something up with Northlight Slash, but does a really powerful zap damage. And also lowers, I believe it's zap resistance. I can't see on my screen. I do apologize, and I didn't put it on there. Which is also a pretty good skill overall for the pure damage portion. But in my mind, the power of Joker is honestly on, unfortunately, the awakening side. His first and third awakenings are insanely powerful. Um, and Northlight Slash is not what they're calling it here. It's just what it's a translation of Japan, and I'm keeping it there. But the first skill is one of those that always makes units really powerful, where it raises attack, defense, agility, wisdom for 3 turns until turn 10. So basically, from turn 3 to 11 is Joker's maximum power, which does give him some really great ability to do a lot of damage. But the big issue is because Joker has low HP and defense, especially for his weight. Getting to turn 3 can be a challenge. Um, the third skill, though, does greatly help reduce damage by 20% for 3 turns. That is really needed for Joker and for people who are going to use him for anything then other than low level Guild Wars. So if you're a mid tier and above, Joker needs the third awakening for him to be of use in most Guild War battles because you need that damage reduction by 20%. Unless if you're willing to throw him away and for the hopes that he's going to go kadonk. That third is by far the most important. And the other thing that I did not state that I usually wait to the end, but I kind of want to go through this, has a barrier that reflects physical attacks for 3 turns. And on the even turns, just like all the other units here, will remove some status ailments and can remove all of them at the same time on turn 2, 4, and 6, which actually makes him really powerful if he survives turn 1 with Kadonk. But generally, if you're going to use him in, honestly, my mind, the greatest power is if you can hobble, which basically doesn't allow units to move for 2 turns or 3 sometimes. What you can really do is drag out the turns. You give up on Joker, and then using that, basically, you eliminate a lot of the ways that people can counter your defense. And that does provide a pretty interesting way to go around, especially since most of the units that I would say people put on attack don't have hobble as a on a generally as a high resist. So it will work an awful lot, and it's a pretty big range. But the reflect physical attacks is really, really important. The only problem is it doesn't have the high dodge like a lot of the other units that have like some type of which I think would be better than reflection of physical attacks because that would allow at least in my mind the Joker could still die, but it does bring the damage back to you just because of there. So it's not like it's going to keep him alive. It'll just be really, really annoying. I mean, he'll reflect, so he won't take the damage. Let me be, but he can die with a lot of other with a breath or magic. That's really, really scary with Joker. And yeah, he's like a dual magus in that regards. Glass cannon, except if you're not careful. And in RTA, I see him as a really powerful unit, just because people can't protect themselves, and a lot of people have primarily physical attackers. I love to see Jokers, especially coming out. Love to see Jokers. I use a pure breath team. And so I do kill a lot of pre-planned teams that way. Whoosh and Zap resistance 2 and 4, and fifth one's max HP 100, which is actually pretty important for Joker. But honestly, in order for him to be a true S tier unit, in my book, needed a fifth awakening that was more than just max HP 100, and to give like if he had a 5% physical runaway rate or physical crit increase or something else thrown on top. I think that's what he is lacking in to be in the upper echelon, especially with a very important hero coming very, very soon solo. That's going to be coming in the next 3 to 4 months or 3 to 4 weeks, probably. No, 4 weeks. But let's go back here. Joker, his max HP is only 1212. That is really, really low with a defense of 307. That's where my fear comes in. Yes, 3 turns that grants a physical attack. You're going to build him super fast, so really that is only 2 turns of a physical attack barrier. And it's just not enough for Joker. In all honesty, once again, if you have a magic team or a breath team, a Joker is so easy to get around. And if you're really, really smart about it, you can draw out Jokers and kill them really, really quickly. But its agility is 475, so most likely you're going to have to counter whatever he does, and it can at least control the first round in a guild war, especially because of that speed. The MP is 478, which is kind of needed because Kadonk is expensive. Even if you have him third, it's still going to be 400. We'll be able to do Kadonk plus Northlight Slash, which is the third one here, which is the Zap skill. Its attack is incredibly high, though, at 568. So Kadonking a large area will take some damage to everybody and hobble. And if instead does the Zap attack, it could kill a unit right off the bat as well. And so basically, Jokers are great for players that are planning on having incredibly high agility teams. Its naturally high attack means it will do an awful lot of damage, even if you put a weapon that has 120 agility with no additional attack. So that's it, it's designed for. I don't run those teams. That's just not the way that I run Guild Wars. I do breath. So that's I'm kind of hinting at what I'm going to do, but I'm going to be a lot more detailed in my pros con and will I because of everything going on. The preferred weapon is the weapon that's built for Joker. Um, the only thing I don't like about it is it has strength and HP, and you're gonna go mad. You're saying the HP is low enough. You don't care about HP at this point. Yeah, Joker needs 400 HP and 100 defense for it to be tanky enough to really have HP useful. Instead, you really want to be focusing on that speed. And in all honesty, you're just going to probably give him a claw instead that has speed on top of it with all agility there. But from a pure power standpoint, the Noble Phantom Sword is where you're going to go. If I somehow get an awful lot of Jokers, I will be giving a claw to Joker because I will focus on speed. But once again, especially for PVE as well, or if you're on the attack, that's going to bring the most out of Wildcard. But for high end Guild Wars and high end RTA, agility is probably going to be your best bet. Two learned skills are actually the two physical skills. One from the first banner, second one is the second. First or bang damage, it doesn't really matter which. Personally, I think actually I would use Burst Slash with Joker, so you have a bang and a zap. That just really adds a lot of ways to hurt people instead of the frizz, but either are is fine. So the pros, physical reflection is a really scary thing to add on to RTA for people who throw physical teams out there. It basically means that you're going to have to leave Joker until round 3 to kill. Joker can really hamper your move ability, which is huge. And as I say, you have no way to counter it the first time you see it. Now, if you keep fighting the same person over and over again, obviously, then you can change up your RTA. But as I say, run a Brett team, so I don't really care about the physical reflection. But once again, that's just the way that how you roll an RTA. First and third awakenings, very well done. The fifth awakening, though, is a little lacking, and is why it's not as powerful of a unit as like Solo is going to be. In all honesty, that is 100% whale talk, and I totally understand it. And up to the third awakening, and really even fourth awakening, big issue is HP, and it actually gets a boost on the fifth awakening, which I'm not saying it's a bad boost. It's just it needs a little bit more to be, the highest of the high tier. But still, for someone who gets lucky and pulls a single Joker, getting that first awakening Joker is a huge step up, and is a really good unit. And it's just, as I say, if you love Joker and you want, or Dragon Quest Monster, sorry, and you love Joker or Wildcard, it's a good unit. But its strengths just don't really match up with how I like to play. So I'm trying to be really careful in this review for a lot of people, just because it's not the way that I fit, and it doesn't worry me as much. But it is a really good unit for a lot of other people for how they play. And as I said, if you play on medium level Guild Wars and above, like if you're in the top 100 rank guilds, the Joker is actually can have a really, or Wildcard, sorry, can have a really good way if you can field a very fast agility team or you build a very defensive-minded team that's slow and really tanky, and send out Joker with all the agility to dunk, slow them down, just create some absolute chaos and drag it out. That's a way to get 10 points less for your opponent's victory using that. And it's just a way to kind of edge down opponents, and that can actually lead your guild to a victory. As I say, the cons, you have to have that third awakening for it to survive. But if you're willing to kind of sacrifice it, especially if you get the very first awakening, even, you can do enough damage even with just the first round to on Guild Wars, especially RTA, that you can really cause a lot of havoc, especially if they're hobbled and you have teams that have range. Joker Wildcard can do a really good job of helping you control RTA. And I know people are going to be like, "Man, that you're a control type person in RTA, or was, and now I do breath just because of everything going on." But I will also throw out a control team. But Joker's just not the type of control that I'm really looking for, and I'm being really picky here. And so, will I pull? Honestly, even on mine, I'm telling myself I should pull a little bit harder than what I'm planning on pulling because it has a lot of uses. But it's because I am saving for our next hero, which will be coming in about a month, in about 4 to 5 weeks solo. And that is a lot more important to me than Joker is. But for a lot of people, and for people who are willing to spend a little bit more than I am right now, or people who love Dragon Quest monsters, this is by far the best unit out there for us, and for everything going on here. And all in all, you will not be disappointed if you get Joker. But as I say, it's just, it comes at the wrong time, and the right now the way I'm playing, it just has no fit on either of my two main teams. So that's it there. The summonable units, Prettypunk, didn't even get to show it here on screen. It actually is almost an equivalent HP and defense unit compared to Wildcard is. That's how low Wildcard is. And Prettypunk's not really that bulky of an A monster, even. It is a very interesting unit. And to be honest, because I mean, I could really get almost any A unit I want at this point because I have so many of the B class and below coins that I don't really use. But so it's not, doesn't mean as much as it used to. But Prettypunk is a very useful A unit. It can raise its own power for one turn. It can dazzle and reduce frizzle resistance, which it casts frizzle as well. It does really strong attacks. First Awakening gives move +1. Third Awakening will also help awaken friends that are slept within 1 to 3 range up to 4 times. And so it has a really unique ability to wake up units that are sleeping, which is actually useful for some of the battles in Dragon Quest monsters and PvE especially. So there's actually some decent amount of uses for Prettypunk. Not really going to go much into more detail. It's just a really good mage unit, has good agility and good wisdom, especially for A level. It's also a pretty good unit to bring into for Arena as well. So I hope you guys enjoy. I know I went into really deep into Wildcard, and I know I kind of whiffle-waffled, but just to keep everyone truthful, or at least, on my end, my plan is to only pull very lightly for a wild card. If I get him, I'll be happy. If I don't, I won't worry too much. But you will see an awful lot of that, and I wanted to kind of state why I'm not a fan of him, but why a lot of other people may be. So I hope you guys enjoy, but more importantly, stay safe. if you see, yes, I'm taller than what I was, having pulled my back last week. Haven't had that much time to do videos because I've been on some pain medicine, and so I do apologize. I'm going to try to get a few more things going, but I got to get ready for our next event as well. So you'll start seeing a little bit more videos flowing through again. But more importantly, stay safe, enjoy, and most importantly,